Hi, welcome back. In this video number 6, we intend to conclude on the fact that man is the climax of God's creation in the universe, at least the known universe. Now, we have demonstrated that he is different. Even for those who would like to believe that an animal has a soul, or those who don't believe it, those who believe it has a spirit, or those who don't believe it, we know that in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 21, the Bible talks about the spirit of an animal. And it says, who knows if the spirit of man goes up and if the spirit of the animal goes downward. So we definitely know that the Bible talks about the spirit of animals and it talks about the spirit of man in a different manner. But in this one, we want to demonstrate that here is the climax of God's creation. And if God did it so, it was with an intention. He said, let's make man into our own image, into our likeness, into our resemblance. So he means, let's make man in such a way that he has some of the characteristics of us. He will be able to dominate and to rule over the rest of the living creatures that we have made. It makes sense. If man has to rule the rest of the living creatures, he must have something above them. And God took care of that. Now, we said in the video, the last one in video number 5, we talked about the fact that the so-called soul that we can see in the animals relies on the past. What do we mean by that? The fact that an animal does not reinvent the wheel. An animal basically does what its species does. And by doing that, that animal just confirms what it has inherited from the past. But a man is not forced to do exactly what his parents, his forefathers, or anyone else has done. A man can actually reinvent the wheel. I remember there was societies that has caste group of people who were stuck in a certain way of living their lives. Some of them, when they were born to walk iron, they will walk iron, and their son, their children will do the same thing, and so on and so on. Those who were musicians, they will be musicians, and their children were supposed to do the same thing. Those who were in politics, they will be politicians, and their children were supposed to do the same thing. Well, nowadays, people can evolve and become what they mean to become. They can frame their soul. That capacity that God gave them, that is called a soul, a living soul, is active. And every man does with it what he is pleased. This is the reason why man of all the rest of the creation will give account to God of what he did, of that capacity that he was made with. Bible says man became a living soul. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. So you are responsible of what you're doing. For those who study law, we know the debate of responsibility. Is man responsible of his actions? And we know what some writers, some poets, and some philosophers have written about that. It has been a big debate. At the end of the day, if we have the judiciary system, is a demonstration that man is to be held responsible, and that makes him way different from the animal. Just the simple fact that we have courts of law in our society is a proof that man is different. He frames his soul. He determines what he will do or not do, how he will do it or not do it. He has that capacity. Now, going from this moment, you will understand how important is man. God has given him a special capacity. He has given him some of what characterizes him, God. When he says, let's make man into a resemblance, into a likeness, he does not mean that man is God. No, way far from that. He just means that he has given him a potential that is way above just the planets, as big as they are, the animals, the trees, as living as they can all be, the rivers, the waters. Man can choose, he can transform, he can evolve, he can make things happen. God bless you. And know that you are responsible of your choices. Thank you. In Jesus' name.